Yo, how's it going? This is Naeem Spivey, and you are listening to Respect the View podcast. How y'all doing today? Today's date is July, what is it, 8th? 9th? I think it's the 9th. Today's the 9th. Today, I am coming to you with another episode, because that's legit what I've been doing and what I've been trying to focus on. The title of this episode is going to be, there's been a lot going on working on myself. And I know I haven't really been, I've just been talking, posting relevant content towards, the issues that have been occurring recently. Probably on my Facebook the most, on my main Instagram too. There's just been so much going on, and to be honest with you, I probably have major anxiety dealing with a lot of the stuff that's been going on, and I just been treating my podcast like a business and not like a hobby. So I'm gonna start rolling out more content. Just been trying to stay sane, I guess, in a sense. But I definitely wanted to. The problem isn't even the fact that I don't have enough content. The fact is, it's like, if I'm not into it, I can't record. So I've been trying to work on being in a better mood. Maybe I thought like it was something going on with me, and I needed to focus on getting my energy levels back up. That's what I've been trying to roll out, some content that's also relevant to my day-to-day life. So the episode will be, what we'll be discussing today, and what we will be discussing today, I can honestly say that's why I've been working on this episode, and I feel like it's some pretty good content. Today's episode will be working on yourself, and pretty much what I got written down is I have three pretty much categories that I felt. Three main points that I'm going over today is what I wasn't doing for myself, what I need to start doing for myself to make myself happy, and what actually makes me happy. I kind of got it out of order. We're going to start off with what I wasn't doing for myself. I got a couple bullet points that I'm going to go over that I felt like as of recently, probably the past couple years, I just been trying to focus on being a better me. And some of the bullet points that I actually have is loving myself. I don't feel like I was giving myself enough attention. The things that I love to do, or my routine, or just being me. Like, the crazy part is, you know who that is. Like, nobody can really tell you who that is. So that's kind of a peace thing. I feel like when it comes to loving yourself, definitely if you don't love yourself, then it's going to be hard for somebody else to love you. So the next bullet point I wrote down, I put listening to your inner voice. And why I say listening to your inner voice is me, like personally, I talk to myself. I always, like, I used to think that it was God. I used to think that it was like God talking to me. Good and a bad angel, you know what I mean? Felt like it was like that. Always heard myself, like I was always talking to myself in my head, and it was like good ass advice, and always listen to it. If that's like weird to say, I don't know why I didn't listen to it. I felt like I should have listened to myself more, because you know what's best for you. And sometimes we get caught into what we do for others that we forget to work on ourselves, in a sense. So it was a lot of times where I was hearing myself, but I wasn't necessarily doing what was best for me. The point that I have is focusing on my goals. So it definitely took some time to sit down and focus and meditate, just for me to figure out what I really wanted to do, because it seemed like I was able to do just about anything that I put my mind to. And that can also be very time consuming, and you can stretch yourself out by trying to be multi-talented, and you don't really want to do that, because that's how you cause burnout. And then the next one I have is taking my health seriously. Now, for those of you that know me personally, you might know that I recently became vegan. But for those of you who don't know, I'm vegan. I've been vegan for like 2 months now. 2 months going on 3. Cut out. I pretty much went vegan like cold turkey, to be honest with you. It just like Just one day I was just like, yeah, I think I'm gonna try it. And then I was like vegan from there, and I literally haven't eaten any dead flesh or eggs or cheese. And I actually feel pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, my body feels pretty good. I've been able to run. Like I've had less like pain in my knees, because if you didn't know, I had 2 knee surgeries. Like I was able to get myself back in shape, but I was never able to feel the way I wanted to, like I felt before. So I was always trying to strive to reach back to that. And I don't know if it was because I had the surgeries or if it was because of the depression that I didn't have the motivation to do so. But now I'm in a space where I feel healthy enough, like mentally, to start implementing some of the physical fitness goals that I have for myself. And I feel like that's amazing. And I want to track the journey, and I can't wait for everyone to see it, just because like I'm a workaholic, like basketball related injuries. So I was definitely like, I went through a lot of like ups and downs emotionally. I can honestly say I was probably in a deep depression because of it. They used to call me cornbread on the basketball team. Like I used to just work like a slave. Like he said that in a funny way, and it used to make me laugh all the time, and it just stuck with me. So shout out to Greg. I know he got some music coming out. After I had injured myself, my life kind of took like just some funny stuff. But it definitely, I feel like a spiral, and I had to definitely get myself back up from that, and it took a while. Kind of like, and I'm blessed I was able to actually get myself back from that. But the last point that I feel like I wasn't doing for myself is I wasn't accepting things and letting them go. I was like harboring them in my heart, or I was letting it affect my spirit, and I definitely don't do that anymore. I started listening to a lot more like audio affirmations and things like that to better my spirit, and specifically ones for like letting go. Even dipped into the Bible and letting go. And I've learned that sometimes accepting and letting go is also moving on. So I'm learning different approaches to things, and how to accept, and how to not even cope, because like I said, sometimes accepting and letting go is also moving on, just to better yourself, because of the negativity in the situation affect you in a multitude of ways that you really don't want at all. So I just started. But the next category, or I should stop, and what's good, people? It's Jay Spivey. So if you haven't heard, there's this amazing app, and it's the easiest way for you to make your podcast, and it's free. All right, so let me explain. It has all the creative tools that allow you to edit your podcast the right way, right from your phone or your computer, and it allows you to distribute your podcast to all the major platforms like Apple and Spotify and many, many more. All right, you can literally make money with little to no listeners. Like, how dope is that? All you got to do is go to anchor.fm to get started. Go check it out. Give it a little break, and I'll be back with All right. So part 2, or section 2, if you want to call it, I pretty much went over what I needed to start doing to better myself, and to make pretty much make a better me, get myself in a better mood, make sure that I was happy. So my list starts off with 1, meditation. Definitely big. Woo. I do it in all types of forms, to be honest with you. I do a lot of humming. Just gotta study what what the best method of meditation is for you. You know what I mean? There's definitely a lot of different ones. Not as far as like forms of meditation, but there's different ways to meditate. Just gotta research it a little bit. The next one on my list is reading. I've been purchasing like a book every like 2 to 3 weeks. I'm up to like 4 or 5 books now, but I only read 2 of them at a time because I know my capacity when it comes to how much I can actually stay focused. So for number 3, I put breaking down my goals into smaller steps so I won't feel overwhelmed. I have a lot of ideas in my brain, and I definitely won't get any of them done if I focus on all of them. So I try to schedule out myself and break down the goals that I have into smaller steps, like maybe building a website, or maybe working on a podcast episode, or my basketball training, or my marketing for like my vegan Instagram, stuff like that. I break it down into smaller steps, and because I work overnight, it's like my work schedule is kind of weird, so I'll have the opportunity to get work done at work, but then when it comes to having like a day life, like I'm just like sleep all damn day. So next I put listen to myself. I already went over that one. I just started actually listening to my own voice and what I thought was a good idea, and I was just meditating and trying to figure out what was best for me. So that's what I went in for, listening to myself. And then I put focusing on the things I can control. I stopped I mean, I don't know if it's the Virgo nature in me, but I just comment on everything. Like, I comment on it. And usually my comment is like, it's not something rude. I guess I just have an opinion in my head. Honestly, I don't care if people hear my opinion. So that's why it's like, I usually just keep it to myself, or like I'll say it, but it won't be nobody around. So that's usually just how I get my opinion off, and then normally I'm good. But I've just been focusing on like not caring. Focusing on the things that I control, and like usually depending on what you do, the things you can control is, it's not that big. You know what I mean? It's like you can control your attitude, you can control how you respond to something. So I just been focusing on those things. You can control what you say, how you say it, things like that. So that's what I've really been focusing on. And I've been some other ones are what I see, what I read, what I watch, what I listen to. I'm definitely on a different level of consciousness about those things now, as I'm studying. So I definitely don't take those light anymore, and I'll skip a song that's too toxic or too violent, or if I feel like it's sitting on my heart uneasily. Next on my list, I put workout / go on runs with my dog. So I've been already kind of mentioned that I had 2 knee surgeries, so I just been trying to get my knees back right, and the fact that I can run with my dog now lets me know that my legs are feeling pretty good. And then I'm up like 8 hours at work, so I have been working on my health. I have been working on my body. Honestly, I don't know if it's because I was vegan or not, because my work ethic was crazy anyway, but I definitely put on muscle quite easily. My metabolism is crazy, ridiculous. So a lot of things don't necessarily come hard to me when it comes to like putting on weight. But that still doesn't stop the work ethic. So I'm definitely trying to show some people some good gains. I'm trying to put on like 15 to 20 pounds of muscle. And I kind of want to go play in some leagues depending on how the world opens back up and stuff like that. So definitely some future plans in the works that have to do with basketball. And I'm definitely excited for them. I'm just not rushing them. You know what I mean? I'm taking my time and making sure I'm focusing on the things I need to focus on, because I have 2 daughters that I have to care for, along with a multitude of other things. So, yeah. And then next on my list, I put start setting limitations on what I allow in my life. That's a big one. That just kind of goes into, for me, that kind of fits into the accepting and the letting go. Because I had an issue with not listening to myself. It's like a combination of things. I had an issue with not listening to myself and then putting others first. Like, I wouldn't say anything because I care about your happiness more than I care about my happiness. And I feel like that's definitely not healthy, you know? And I know it started with, there were things that were pretty much told to me that didn't sit right with me, and I would not say anything about them. I would just let them sit in my heart and manifest into something that it should not have manifested into. And I definitely regretted that part. So I wanted to better myself and work on that. And here we are talking about it and what makes me happy. Short and simple. Some goals I want to work on, some things I want to achieve. We'll be talking about them. All right, be back. Trying to thrive and get better and, level up. You know what I mean? So next on my list, I put stop procrastinating. I feel like I only procrastinate because I was kind of tired, but in the same light, I would have times where, like 30, like even if it was like a little bit of procrastinating, like 30 minutes, 20 minutes, me sitting there just like scrolling through social media, stuff like that. I stopped, I worked on not doing a lot of that. If you didn't know, a lot of my social media is actually automated, and the only time I'm actually on it is if I'm like commenting on somebody's post. But I generally, like, if I look at my analytics, I generally stay between like 30 minutes to an hour of actually being on Facebook, like the app, which is pretty cool. I just been trying to like disconnect myself from technology, which in turn would make me more focused on the tasks at hand that I need to finish. So the next one I have is to plan out my work, so I have a more stress-free mindset and environment towards my business. And that one also goes into breaking down my steps a little bit smoother. I guess I was just trying to say it in a more fancier way. But clearly if you break down big steps into smaller steps, you don't feel as much I would say you probably you can eliminate your anxiety altogether, because then it's not such a massive project. And that's why I said planning out my work. I guess I wasn't trying to say it in a fancy way, because in this one I actually got a planner. You know what I mean? I'm writing out my workouts. I'm writing out the things I got to do per week. I'm putting them in my phone. I'm writing them on paper. I have a notebook on top of a planner. So I'm just writing everything down, trying to manifest myself into a better working environment so I can get the things done that I really want to do. And then I put, last but not least, I put to stop multitasking and try to narrow down my tasks. And I've actually noticed that I'm pretty good at multitasking, but the problem is I feel like I want to do too many things. Like I learned how to build websites, so I've been trying to focus on making sure my website for my podcast is done. But then that's kind of like a tedious process, because I already have podcasts out, which means I have to do blog posts. And I used to have a blog, then I stopped blogging. So now I'm just like, okay, what's a good blog for a podcast? Now I have all these other questions that I'm like trying to run through my brain, just all about the podcast. But I also do, I don't do too many projects. So that's why I'm just like, I have narrowed down my focus completely. and I was just trying to make sure that it was only a couple things that I wanted to work on so I can make sure I succeed in it and then move on to the next thing. So we're going to take another break and then I'm going to hit you with the last part. All right. We're back with section 3. And in section 3, pretty much what I discussed is my hobbies or the things that I love to do or the businesses that I wanted to start. Pretty much that's what I went over. And number 1 on my list, what makes me happy, was basketball, working out, getting games. I love flexing. I like looking good. I don't know. I don't even know how else to describe that. Like I like working out, feeling good, and looking good. And then when I was hooping and I was killing niggas on the court, which wasn't for a long period of time, by the way. I was actually trash for most of the period of time. I got good for a real short period of time. But even when I was doing that, I was having fun. I want to get back to that. I am not even in my prime yet. Let me go have some fun. Let me get myself right. You know what I mean? And then 2 on the list is my podcast. That's why I said I want to start treating it like a business and not like a hobby, because it's lucrative. It can pay, and it can get me to these other things that I wanted to do a lot easier. Set me up for a lot more time freedom just to be with my kids. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm looking forward to. So I will be making a transition into treating it more like a business. I'm just trying to do it more on my terms and not make it feel like a job. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to come up with a structure that I like to help me work and get my job done. So 3rd on the list is Forex Trading. I've been doing that for a while. It doesn't necessarily make me happy, but it puts bread in my pocket. I figured that I might like set a goal in my Forex trading. And if you want info, I'll leave some info of an amazing teacher that I actually bought her course and took her course. And all you gotta do is say I sent you, and she'll hook you up. She's an amazing teacher, affordable pricing, and it isn't an MLM. She has her own LLC. She's operating as an independent business, and she is well educated. I will be leaving all her info below. Her name is actually the same name as my daughter, Nicole. If I'm not mistaken, it's Nicole Hill. Shout out to you. You rock. Woo! I definitely am going to set myself up a plan to where I'm only trading a couple days a week. I'm in it for the long term. I'm not in it to just get some quick money and then dip out. So I'm trying to find the perfect strategy for myself. Miss Hill actually helped me with that. She pretty much equipped me with a bunch of resources that are definitely beneficial into learning this Forex thing, and I definitely appreciate her for that. So that'll be number 3. So the last one on my list is pretty much photography or videography. I love taking pictures. I love taking pictures of my kids. I love taking pictures of myself. I love taking pictures of nature. I love doing videography. I love editing like pictures to make them look cool and artsy, and I love videos, chopping them up, putting graphics on them, and just making them look cool, adding music to it. I love documentaries. So that's like a really big one that I've been putting on the back burner for years, that I think that I actually sold my camera. I was going through a situation where I had to sell some stuff, and I ended up selling my my T3i, my Rebel T3i, and I loved it. Took so many pictures with it, took so many videos with it, and I just can't wait to get another one. So I just been saving up. I think I might want to use one of the things that make me happy to purchase one of the other things that make me happy. So that's why I've been focusing on Forex trading, because like I said, it can kind of put money in your pocket and give you a budget for other things like that you wouldn't normally have a budget for. It's just it's just time consuming, but I've been learning photography since I've been studying freelance photography for like the past um 3 years on and off. I believe I started back in like 2000, it was like 2016, 17 when I bought my camera, and I didn't put it down the whole time I had it. So I was really kind of hurt when I had to sell it, you know. But that's probably the last thing on my list. I wasn't trying to stretch myself out too thin. Every day, things that you should be doing every day to make you happy. Working out should be automatic. And then the other three are pretty much the things that make me happy in everyday life that I've been working on a regular. So the working out and the basketball stuff, I feel like that was always a part of my life. I wouldn't necessarily, like, I can honestly say that keeps me happy. If I can hoop, like, and that's when, like, I've been hurt for so long, so I just been trying to get back to that. Remember, I brought up the depression. If I can just hoop, mentally, I wouldn't even have had a lot of these issues that I had. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to focus on getting back to that. So then I'm just overall happy. Like, you know, I didn't have a care in the world when I was able to hoop and just go home and go to work or whatever. You know what I mean? I just wanted to be able to splat a three up in a nigga eye. You know what I mean? Dunk it. You know, get hype. That's what I love. And that's what I really plan on getting back to. So, you know, praise to the Most High. You know, we going to get there. But also I know, don't put a time limit or time restriction on getting something done. Even if you, like, that's when, like, you can turn and you can look to your right or to your left and somebody's doing something that you want to do and they're doing it, like, really good, and you're just like, oh, I can't wait to get there. You know what I mean? Like, it may take you 3 years, you know, to get that same result or that same outcome. You know what I mean? But I feel like the beauty is in the journey with a lot of these things in life. It's not necessarily the destination. And I guess that's just a little nugget I want to leave y'all with. I don't have it written down, so it's not like I'm able to repeat it. So I'm gonna have to, like, listen to the episode and put it in the show notes. But this is Naeem Spivey, and you're listening to Respect of You podcast. This was episode 3. Like I said, you know, I'm coming out with some amazing content. I hope you guys tune in, and gals tune in. I am working on my website. It's almost done. It just doesn't have any it doesn't have an about me page on it yet, or it doesn't have, like, any blogs up. So I'm working on that, but I'll leave that below just so you guys can take a look at it and tell me how you guys and tell me what y'all think, you know. Of course, I'm gonna leave all my all my social media below. That's it, you know. And until next time, I'm out.